Tuesday, December 5th. Dad had to take Eric down to the police station this morning to talk to Sergeant Rojas. They were there from 7:30 until 10:30. When they got back, Eric went straight up to his room. Dad came into the kitchen and told Mom and me Arthur Beta is trying to blame Eric. He's saying that Eric put him up to it. Eric denies it. He says Arthur misunderstood him. It's a big mess. He poured himself a cup of coffee and added, "The police will sort it out. It's their job, not mine." I said, "What do the witnesses say?" "I know that Antoine Thomas and Brian Baylor have given statements to the sergeant. They both say that it was Arthur who actually assaulted the guy. The guy's name was Lewis." Dad nodded and corrected himself. "I'm sorry, Lewis." I thought about Eric's group of flunkies. I asked, "What about friendly witnesses?" "Eric and Arthur don't have any friends. Not since we started rounding up all of that stolen jewelry. No, nobody but Arthur Bayer, Sr., is saying that it was a fair fight." Mom had her elbows flat on the tabletop and both hands up under her chin, like she was holding her own severed head. She asked, "So what's going to happen now?" Dad answered calmly, almost casually, as if it didn't have anything to do with him. "Now the wheels of justice will turn. Slowly but surely, each of them will have to answer for whatever it was that he did. I'm not interfering anymore." I looked back at Mom. She, at least, seemed worried about her firstborn son. Dad, on the other hand, seemed more like those friends who had abandoned Eric who now regretted ever getting involved with him in the first place. He turned to me. "Paul, Sergeant Rojas wants a statement from you, too. He wants you to type a paragraph or two describing exactly what you saw and what you heard. You know, what really happened. You can give it to me and I'll drop it off at the sheriff's department." I said, "Okay, I can do that." The phone rang in the great room. I walked over to the coffee table and picked it up. I heard a familiar voice. "You got to get yourself a better lawyer, homeboy." "Tino?" "Yeah, I guess you're right." "So, what's up? What are you going to be doing with yourself?" "I'm starting up at St. Anthony's on Wednesday." Tino snorted with contempt. "St. Anthony's? Those losers? You gotta be kidding me." "Hey, I didn't say I was going to play for them. I'm playing for the War Eagles next year." "Oh, yeah? You don't think you're going to start, do you?" "I know I'm going to start." "Yeah, well, we'll see about that." "What about you?" I asked him. "What are you going to be doing?" "Oh, I got lots to do. You know, it's what they call a blessing in disguise. Lewis has been advertising the Golden Dawns in all the trade papers. There's a big response, just like he said there would be. He's got orders from grows all over Florida, from Texas, from California, even from down in Mexico. I gotta help her daddy get all those orders filled. I gotta help him with a lot of the other stuff that Lewis did too." Tino paused. Then he said awkwardly, "Hey, fisherman, anytime you want to come out and work in the groves, you come on out. You're on the crew. You know what I'm saying?" I knew what he was saying. I answered, "Yeah, yeah, thanks. I want to. That's something I really want to do. You just tell me when." "You know when. Time and temperature, right? When the sun's going down and the wind's coming up and the temperature is 39, 38, 37, you know what's going to happen next, and you know where we'll be. I'll be there too. All right. Maybe I'll even stay awake this time." Tino snorted again. There was a pause. Then he said, "Hey, good luck at that St. Anthony's place. I don't know anything about it except that we beat their butts every year. They gotta wear uniforms. Is that right?" "Yeah, and they got nuns teaching there." "No way. Nuns?" "Yeah." "All right. We don't well, don't you go getting wild like you do. I don't want to hear about you jumping out of the bleachers on the Pope or anything like that." "No, you won't. You take care of yourself, brother. I'll see you in the groves." "Yeah, bye." I hung up, but I heard the word brother echoing long afterward. I looked up at the ceiling, and I heard Eric pacing back and forth in the cage that he had made for himself. Tuesday, December 5th, later. I came upstairs after dinner to write out my account of crime for Sergeant Rojas. I logged on and went back through all my journal entries from Houston until today. Then I started writing. I didn't finish until after 9 p.m. I started with the basic facts, a paragraph or two, but I couldn't stop there. I had too much to say. I started writing about Lewis and what he meant to the people around him, and how they depended on him, and why they looked up to him. Then I tried to write the same thing about Eric. What did he mean to the people around him? How did they depend on him? Why did they look up to him? I don't suppose the police are interested in all of that. That's not their job. But it's a part of the truth, big part, and as Antoine Thomas told me, the truth shall set you free. I went downstairs, handed the disc to Mom and Dad, and said, here's the whole truth. Here's what really happened. I went into the kitchen and poured myself a glass of orange juice. When I walked back through the great room, Mom and Dad been had both pulled up chairs to the in the alcove. They were both staring hard at the computer screen. Wednesday, December 6th. The first day of school, take 3. I got into my blue pants, white shirt, blue tie, black socks, and black shoes, and went down to the kitchen. Neither Mom nor Dad mentioned my disc over breakfast, but I was surprised to hear Mom say, Paul, we've talked about it, and we've decided that your father will drive you to St. Anthony's today. At 7:30, Dad and I walked out into the cold Florida morning. A light wind was blowing to the west, carrying the muck fire away from us, toward the Gulf. To the east, the sun was rising behind a long row of gray clouds. I stopped to look at them, jagged and red peaked, looming there like a distant mountain range. I pulled out of the development and headed north. We pulled out of the development and headed north, past the gates and guardhouses, past the high tension wires and the osprey nest, toward the Lake Windsor campus. When we stopped at the light at Route 89 and Seagull Way, Dad pointed over to the right. He said, "Do you see that? That's Mike Costello's tree." I looked where Dad was pointing and saw it, the big laurel oak. It had been planted in the lawn of the high school between the road and the bus lanes. It looked healthy enough, strong enough, but it was bound to a crisscross of wires attached to white metal stakes. Dad added, "Those stakes are just temporary until it can stand on its own." We drove on to the next light and turned right. We headed east toward the glowing colors of the mountain range and toward the glowing colors of the citrus groves. I thought to myself, Mike Costello has his tree, and that's good, but Lewis has his tree too, and he will have many, many more. Soon the road narrowed to 2 lanes, and we were surrounded by the groves, surrounded by the beauty of it all. I stared through the window at the endless rows of trees, orange, tangerine, lemon, flying past us on either side. I rolled down the window and let it all in. The air was clear and cold, and the car immediately filled up with that scent, the scent of the golden dawn.